you mentioned that insurers probably understand that they still need to invest in innovation and in continuing to transform their businesses. And I suppose the point that I wanted to put to you was that perhaps it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. Perhaps some organizations are inclined to hunker down a little bit because of the economic circumstances, maybe to not deviate too much from strategies that they know are working. But actually innovation is, it's more important now than ever, possibly.
Yeah, there's fewer who are dead set on hunkering down and just weathering the challenges of the day, and just purely cost cutting than I've seen historically, because this isn't the first time I've been through one of these tough years. It might be one of the toughest years, which I thought would have created far more of that strategy to hunker down. I think we're seeing a lot of people still going forward with move to cloud, with a hope to get out of their data centers and reduce costs that way. And I just think that the leadership of insurers today in the board is far more tech savvy than they were 10 years ago. And therefore, they look at technology as, truly being core. Whereas 10 years ago, the underwriter was the end all be all of the business. And they still are extremely important, but there's a lot of people you'll see that have technology backgrounds now leading these programs or in the board that are advising that if they don't modernize, they will not be able to compete in the future. So it's a bit of a different structure at the top, I think, which is helping to somewhat remain consistent towards that drive to modernize and elevate and simplify really the technology stacks.
Okay, so moving on from innovation, what do you make of sort of insurers and their commitment to sustainability, particularly their commitment to addressing their own carbon footprint? Do you think that the economy will affect their commitment to their sustainability initiatives?
Yes, I do, actually. In the short run, I think what we're seeing is sustainability as a standalone strategy is one of the early cuts to the transformation agenda. I think sustainability as it relates to where it's embedded in other programs, so a move to cloud or simplification or modernization, sustainability is a lever, but it's not necessarily the primary focus of that transformation initiative, where you would have seen more, things that were primary towards that space. So I think it is going to take a bit of a hit. However, you will see sustainability linked to a lot of other things. So to ensure that from a brand perspective, they're still getting out there that they're addressing sustainability. But I do think it's going to probably have a little less focus than it would have had otherwise. Okay,
thank you. Is there anything you think that governments should be doing right now to incentivize insurers to spend in areas like sustainability, innovation?
Well, I think you've seen a kind of a dichotomy or a differentiation between multiple different countries who have different programs in place or incentives or regulations for that matter that are driving different behaviors, and they absolutely have an impact. I think any country that decides that they want this, then you almost have to create regulatory requirements to enforce it if you want consistency or a unified approach or even unified outcomes. I think what you have right now is brand-wise, people are pressured to do the right things because it has an impact on how they are seen in the marketplace by a lot of, especially the younger customers, and therefore they're driving it on their own. I'm a free market principles kind of guy, so I'd prefer that the business is driven by the outcomes and the market as opposed to the regulations. But I think it's probably inevitable that you'll see more regulatory requirements to drive maybe faster adoption and or more focus around as it relates to sustainability over the next several years, for sure.